Okay, folks, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, game master today. I need to come up with a better, not emperor, that is far too lofty. We'll come up with something between now and next session for the DM's role in this. But today we are kicking off. 2 weeks ago, we created a character for the 5th edition, the Fantasy Flight edition of Legend of the Five Rings RPG. And today we are kicking off a tale that I'm calling Lament for Lovers and Liars. With me today is the star of the Lament for Lovers and Liars adventure, and that would be Sean. Sean, who are we playing today?
Everybody. I am playing Agasha Jinzaburo. He is, and we're all going to be kind of learning together who he is, but he is of the Dragon Clan. He's a Shugenja, and let's see here. He aspires to be taken. He's taken reasonably seriously, but he aspires to be taken more seriously. And he definitely aspires for the Dragon Clan, in his mind, to be taken more seriously, even though his father says, "It's fine, son. It's fine." Yeah, we went to, if you want to see the full character generation process, the 20 questions that led us to create Agasha Jinzaburo, essentially Sean to create Agasha Jinzaburo, you can find that in the previous one. This is going to be our first actual play session, so we will be referencing some of the backstory that goes on there. One thing I will say as well is that we're starting a little late today, partly because we were just going through to make sure we were familiar with all the different techniques that Agasha Jinzaburo has access to. In this version of the game, a lot of the things that were smaller, subsystems like spells or Kiho or Kata, or in this game they introduced Shuji, which are like social interaction techniques. All of those are captured under the technique rubric. And we just wanted to make sure we were familiar with what each of those did. This is also first time I've run this in about 2 years. And before that, I'd only run it a handful of times. So I may be looking up some stuff as we go here. It's also been a long time since I've been back in Rokugan. So I am likely to get some things wrong about the setting in addition to the thing. I've done my best to do my homework because it is a setting I really, really love. But if I get things wrong, you have to hopefully forgive me for that breach of etiquette. And I'll be getting things wildly wrong. I played a fair amount of fourth, so I'm definitely comfortable. I'm comfortable with the setting. I'll definitely get things wrong as far as terms, but the system, it's going to be fun. But it's going to take some acclimation to get it all in.
I think that one of the upsides to running, we've been running on Fridays Genesis, which is based on the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game. It's got a similar. This is an iteration on that. I think there are lessons they learned from that system in the same way that they Fantasy Flight learned lessons from the Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition or 3rd edition that they learned to implement into Star Wars. So it is it's a very clever, for my money, I still think this is the best iteration of both the Five Rings setting and the narrative dice mechanic that they've had. But
cool.
So
I ran quite a bit of Force and Destiny, so I'm definitely familiar with
awesome. Yep. So we also may screw up some nomenclature. I already started doing that, but it's successes, strife, and opportunity. It is not threat or strain, like I was saying earlier today. So our session opens. We talked a little bit about where we're going to start you off, but that was based on my intent at first to run one of the things that Sean and I had, we sort of decided 2 weeks ago to make a character for this, and I had decided to use at first the adventure out of the Game Master's kit. Since that time, I started thinking more about how to effectively provide an introduction, and the starter set for this, we mentioned this in the last session, but the starter set for the Fantasy Flight version of Legend of the Five Rings is fucking awesome. It has a fantastic introduction, not only as a way of introducing you to the setting, but also to introduce the what can be fairly complex mechanics in a really good and engaging way. So what I did is any blame for shortcomings in this adventure can be laid squarely at my feet, because this is something I've written specifically to serve as a way for us to get ourselves, to to slowly acclimatize back to the setting, to the rules, and and hopefully have a lot of fun doing it. There also may be some Scorpion and some Mantis clan, because those are my two favorites. So if I don't get a chance to run this again after this adventure, I'm at least scratching those two itches right now. So our tale is called Lament for Lovers and Liars. And it starts with a traveler on the road. Ginzaburo, let me move you back over to the map here. So we had talked before about
that's a cool map.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, I think
it really is.
Devin Rue, I think, is the name of the cartographer.
And Legends of the Five Rings had such really great artwork, and the maps were just so cool.
Oh, totally. And the art. I mean, let's see here. Holster playtesters. Just want to give credit where credit's due here. I might have that wrong. Normally they credit the cartographer and the interior. Yeah, I don't have. Well, in any event, if I get that wrong, I do apologize to the artist. So you had set out from the Dragonlands, way up in north here, and where your destination is, because you have been appointed as an Emerald Magistrate. You are going to be traveling all the way down to Otosanuchi. It's only 20 feet away, though, so I mean that's probably pretty good. So, is there a scale on this? I don't think there ever is. So it has been a eventful trip, making your way. I think probably the most efficient way might be to go to the Line Lands here, to the Violence Behind Courtliness city, down the river here, and then perhaps down to the Phoenix Lands, and then down the coast to Otosanuchi. Passing Slowtide Harbor, the home of the Kasuga family, the Tortoise clan, and then finally arriving. Although perhaps if you wanted to travel more over land, you could have landed somewhere around here and then traveled through, which I believe are Crane lands in here. I can't remember if the Loyalty Castle is that, but I believe these are Crane holdings, because I think the Crane have all the lands around Otosanuchi. In any event, you are approaching the city. There are a couple of things that you have in mind as you approach this. It is likely taking you weeks to get here as well. It's between the travel over land, the travel downriver. It's been a couple of weeks of travel. You are to meet with, for one, you apparently have accommodations at a place called the Waking Frog. Now, let's get some dice rolling right away here. I want you to roll to see what you know about the particular layout of Otosanuchi. Okay, so I think my thinking is that is going to be a culture check, but you can choose what approach you want to do. If you look on...
So culture is the skill.
Culture is the skill, yeah. And then what ring you choose is the approach. So if you look over here...
Oh, nice.
Yep, I've got these are excerpts from the DM screen as well. So you could, for instance, use earth to recall it from memory. You could use water to survey the surroundings. So you could be maybe trying to study maps or something like that. Theorize. Use fire. I'm not sure that one's particularly... You either know this or you don't know this. Analyze. You could be looking for details, like listen carefully to what people are describing and be putting together a vision of what it looks like to you. Or sense it. Use void to instinctively recall.
I think you'll probably observe.
Observe, okay. So it's air.
I think that's air, right?
Yeah, I think isn't air your weakest ring too?
I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Okay. So that gives us an opportunity to talk about void points. So you have you're starting with. Let me put your token down here too. Oh, wrong. In here, boom. There you go. Gotcha, Ginzaburo. I'll put you out in the lands here. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller. There you go. Void points you will regain by triggering one of your disadvantages, or by indulging in certain relaxation techniques. It could be meditating, or engaging in things you enjoy.
So that's the green. One of
that's
two.
The
is
green.
void.
Yes, the blue is your strife. The red is your fatigue, and the green is your void. You can't ever have more void than what your void ring is. You always start at half your void ring for start of a session.
Okay.
If you spend a void point, you get to roll and keep one extra dice.
Okay.
And that is an extra ring dice, so it'll be an extra black dice. And so, I want to give us a check here. So if you roll for your skill, so it'll be culture, and your approach would be air. And unless you're spending void points, we don't need to modify your dice pool at all. We'll see what your result is.
Nope. All right. So ring is 1, and it's going to be pretty simple here because culture is 0.
Okay. So this is 1 ring dice.
Yeah. Okay. And fair enough.
You got a success.
Okay. How about that?
There you go. Okay.
Strong.
So, what you know about Otosanuchi in general is that it is divided, broadly speaking, into 3 different districts. There is, and these are the 3 major sections that are within the walls itself. There are 3 sets of walls in Otosanuchi. The first district, once you get past the exterior walls, is called the Toshisoto. And I've actually got set up here a nice. I could not find a really high resolution picture of Otosanuchi that didn't have people like armies at the gates, but this is, I think, a decent depiction of it.
Minus the siege.
Minus the siege. This is the second day of Thunder. So this is several years in the future. There's also a map here, if that is of more help, but it's not quite as pretty.
Oh, cool. That is pretty.
So what Otosanuchi has, the exterior is the Toshisoto, or the outer districts. That is generally where the non-samurai congregate, or the lower, not lower class, but like the lower station samurai, particularly Ronin, any wave men make their homes out there, but it's also where like most of the activity goes on. The districts are also, because it is such a mixed district or mixed groupings out there, it has gangs, it has samurai districts where it's also like there's weaponsmiths, and there are tea houses, and there are shrines and whatnot. So it's a very, very active part of it. Toshisoto, in the Toshisoto is where you will be finding the what did I say, the
Waking Frog?
The Waking Frog, thank you. Can't read my notes. You also...
Toshisoto, is that a district? Is that what I'd call it?
Yes, so you see the exterior part of the first ring inside the walls?
Yes.
That is the Toshisoto. The next one in is the Echo Hikai. The Echo Hikai is the inner district, which includes the region of Seppun Hill, where the kami are said to have descended from heaven and met with a holy woman called Seppun, who is one of the noble families, one of the, not noble, royal families, or imperial families. The Echo Hikai itself is divided into different districts, which sort of are each controlled by different groups of samurai, or groups of clans. There's the Kanjo district, where Phoenix, Scorpion, and Lion hold sway that focuses on religion and ceremony. The Chisai district, where the Crane, Dragon, and Minor clans focus on law and inter-clan relations. There's the Hito district, where the Unicorn and Lion, where defense and logistics is concerned. And there is the Karada district, where the Crab and Crane are focused on trade policies and the treasury.
Within so the Chisai is my is dragon. Just for my
the Chisai is where the
reference.
dragons hold sway. That's also in their respective district is where the clan embassies are located as well. That will be of interest to you because you are to be meeting with someone named Miramoto Denjuro. I'll put that in chat for you. Miramoto Denjuro is a courtier who deals with the imperial court and the matters around other sundry matters around Otosanuchi, and in particular also deals with the magistrates, the the exercise of imperial justice. He has called you there. Now, it's not always the case that you show up in Otosanuchi and you have to get your marks of station as an Emerald Magistrate directly from, the imperial office, but it's what's been requested. Normally, magistrates don't operate alone. They often work with, if not a Yuriki, like a non-samurai magistrate, then they will usually work with some fellow magistrates. But you've had no word as to who you might be paired with. Other than that, that's sort of all you really know. You've been the mail service in Rokugan is quite good, so Denjuro has been kept appraised of your progress towards Otosanuchi, and they have confirmed that they've got a place for you to stay that the clan is paying for at the Waking Frog, and once you've once you've got yourself settled in at the Waking Frog, you are to then present yourself before the Dragon Embassy. Oh, the third district, incidentally, is the Forbidden City. The Forbidden City is the castle complex containing the Imperial Palace and the other sort of holdings of the Hantei and the other Imperial families like the Sepun, the Otomo, and the Miya.
Those are the Imperial family?
Yeah, other Imperial families. The Emperor marries very often from the Crane clan, but they take the Hantei name. But there's a lot of intermarrying with the Sepun, the Miya, and the Otomo as well. Those are very, very... Sepun descends from the mortal woman who welcomed the Kami from heaven when they came down onto Sepun Hill. So... I don't think, from what we talked about before, you've maybe read about or hoped to come to Otosanuchi at some point, but this is the largest city in all of Rokugan. It's not as marked by violence as violence behind Cortland's city, which has seen a turnover between the Lion and the Phoenix for years. It is not the shadowy, back alley kind of a sinister place like Ryoko Owari, the City of Lies. But it is the grandest city. So what is Jinzaburo thinking as he is making his way towards the imperial capital?
He's probably a little anxious. I don't know how much he's been. We haven't necessarily established how much he's been out and about, but I mean, this has got to be a big deal for him. Do we think that this is his first assignment as the actual magistrate and not on a magistrate's team?
This is him actually getting the station. This is him actually coming to get his the symbols of office as an Emerald Magistrate, and he'll be tasked with his first,
so that's a big deal. I mean, he might have worked on the staff of one before or something, or did some task, or whatever that was especially if it was within the Dragon Clan territories. But yeah, having to both. I guess two primary things that he is the magistrate, that he's going to become the magistrate, and that and this is going to be a big period of off Dragon Clan lands. He's probably, I think he's probably been off of clan lands before, but this is the big time. Like this is no holds. This is no fooling around. So he's anxious. He's ready to go. He's anxious.
One of the things we talked about before we went live is that how Shugenja, or those that are capable of casting invocations, that you can prepare one. Now, you have 3 different invocations that you've got access to. You have Path to Inner Peace, your healing kind of thing. You've got the Fires from Within, which I think we called Jirogen's Kiss, instead because of your your alchemical background as a member of the Agasha family, which is like a fireball type thing, or there is Jerogen's blessing, the anti-poison kind of thing. Do you have one of those that you'd like to prepare?
I guess at this stage, I guess he'll go past to inner peace.
Okay.
He's anticipating that he's going to have some the challenges he's anticipating at this time are administrative, like getting over his own butterflies and dealing with people he's never dealt with before and this kind of thing.
Well, and you never, much as the claim is, that the emperor wills and then things happen. The lands are full of bandits and other sorts of dangers. Rogue samurai, drunk ronin, and whatnot. So Lord knows when you may need to avail yourself of some kind of healing. So let's see here. This is the reason I mention this because downtime is an actual component of the game. It's an actual part of the breakdown for timing in the game. And let's see here. I want to check about what you're rolling against. I think it's just you roll to cast it and then you keep it, but let's see.
Like a TN?
Uses the same ring and TN of the invocation. So then this will be, Path to Inner Peace is a water. So it's a TN2 theology water check.
Okay.
So TN tells us we need to get 2 successes on that.
Theology is the skill.
The skill is theology, yep, and then your approach
and then
will
water's the ring.
Exactly, because that's the type of invocation it is.
Cool. All right, so I'm rolling that. So I just let's see here, theology. I didn't fill this. Let's see, my skill in theology is. Let's see here.
Theology.
Is it 1?
Okay.
I got 1 in that. I got 2 in water.
Okay, so that'll be 1 skill dice, 2 ring dice, and you keep your best 2.
Okay, because there's a way to roll it right from the techniques tab. Let me see to get that going.
Okay.
Water and wait, let's see. Trying to fill it out correctly here.
Sure.
All right, I think this will be correct, but we will check.
Looks right to me. All right.
Yeah.
So now you pick 2 of those to be.
It's a strong roll right there.
It's a strong roll. You got 2 successes, and you can get 1 with no strife on it.
Yeah, I think I got to do that. No need to complicate his life yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you have 1 casting of. So what do you think the? Because again, it's alchemical procedure that you follow. It's not like a scroll or something like that. What do you think Jinzaburo's version of the Path to Inner Peace looks like?
It's probably going to be a jar. I'm thinking that, didn't we say there's something that he has from his father that's around his neck, I think. That's like, one of his
the unusual mixing of elements thing. Yeah.
Yep. And I'd have to remind myself exactly. But yeah, so he's got that hanging around. It's like that he got from his father. It's very important to him. And I'm thinking that that's in a jar that's got a notable shape. Like it's not like a masterpiece, but it's a little unique, and it's sort of a family signature. That we like. We have. It's just a certain little shape of jar, and so it's in one of those.
Okay,
it's got
because that's. One of the ways that you can distinguish. Well, we mentioned this a little bit during character creation, but like each of the major clans has major families that are a part of it, but there are also client families that serve underneath them with different names or lesser names or whatnot. And one of the ways that they don't, stop using the, say the Agasha or the, Miramoto Mon, the marking, the heraldic crest, they'll modify it in some small way to distinguish their specific family from whatever. So could very well be that it's got the Agasha Mon on it as well as some, lesser thing in it too.
Yeah.
Some small little modification. Okay, so that's what we've got that in. Then when you consume that as an action, it will restore 2 fatigue.
Nice.
Yourself or anyone else.
Not to mention mending my exhausted muscles, apparently.
Exactly. So as you approach, let me see if do I have something in the approach? Yeah, I think this will give you a good sense of the wide open plains that surround Otosanuchi. Otosanuchi was built initially, and there are four walls around the Forbidden City, each built by one of the clans during the original war 1,000 years ago with Fuleng, the corrupted kami who tried to conquer Rokugan and kill his siblings. As you're approaching this thing, I think that it's that kind of situation where at first it seems, it seems far away, and it seems like, okay, that's kind of, it looks like a model. I mean, it's nothing, impressive, but as you get closer, and not only the scale of the walls around Otosanuchi, but also the scale of sound and traffic and whatnot, allow me to introduce you to the streets of Otosanuchi. Aha. So this is a view likely from the Ekohikai, the second district looking towards the Forbidden City. So you can picture there is a whole, like, twice as large section that is the exterior, the Toshisodo, that is what you're approaching. This is a much bigger deal than what you, I think, had anticipated. The things that strike you as you go, the highest building in this is the Imperial Palace, the Forbidden City, and the Imperial Castle. Sepun Hill is a very close second to that in the next district, and then there are other towers that loom up with different styles. You can, even from this distance, you can see quite strikingly the difference between the stolid, and sturdy construction and practical, foregoing any kind of ostentatious designs. Embassy of the Crab. There is the ornate and beautiful looking Palace of the Crane, towering up, almost reaching the height of the Imperial Tower, but not taking, of course, not being so, so presumptuous as to dominate the skyline in place of the Forbidden City. There are the shadowy tower that wouldn't make up the Scorpion Embassy, and so on. It is, and I guess the strange onion-shaped domes favored by the unicorn, since the Kirin clan had returned several hundred years ago, bringing the exotic ways of the Gaijin to the north with them. That itself is impressive, but once you step into the walls, it is the crush of people. It suddenly feels very tight and cramped. And as a man who grew up in the mountains among the, serene nature and rugged beauty of the Dragonlands, this is quite a sensory experience. I have one more to give you a sense of what these streets. So this is what you are navigating yourself through. It is probably mid to late afternoon at this point, and there's just nobody is paying attention to you whatsoever. And it is a dizzying array of different sounds and people and whatnot. And there are different, there appears to be some buildings, that you'll see that look like they've been there for hundreds of years. And there's other ones that look like they were thrown up yesterday. Or that would barely come standing because they're like a bamboo, side cart or something like that. There are noodle vendors who are pushing their way through the streets. There are people riding on rickshaws who are being brought through, transported on palanquins or palanquins by porters. There are samurai who seem to have, no markings on them whatsoever. Probably more wavemen than you've ever seen before in one kind of place. In addition to people who, the only people who seem to be wanting to pay attention to you are vendors who are trying to get your attention. So you realize that while you've got a rough layout of where you want to go, finding the waking frog, that is a task that is going to require some actual exercise of cunning here. So, first off, what do you think? How does Jinzaburdo react to all that he's now being exposed to?
I think for a moment he's missing, so he's a little overwhelming, and the sights and the smells and people pushing past him. Maybe even his initial reaction is kind of rudely, this isn't like, there's certain parts where there's certain areas of the city you'd expect this, and there's certain areas you wouldn't. And he's like, I beg your pardon. I'm a samurai, and everyone could care less here. Everyone's a samurai, you're in, this is, forget about that. And because in his own town, he's got a little more, he knows where he's at. Everyone knows who he is. And now he's missing it a little bit where he's like, whoa, I'm in the big pond now, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't want to be late, and no one cares who I am, and all this kind of thing. But I think he closes his eyes. He sort of centers himself on what he thinks his father would do. And he thinks of his father, if you will, as kind of void, more of the void approach.
Yep.
And he just takes it all in. He settles himself and he takes it all in, and he smells the smells and hears the sounds, even as people push past him, and he doesn't let that bother him. He's, and he gets himself all, and his more, what kind of makes him distinct from his family, probably, in his clan, he's a little more direct than they are. Okay. And hence his fire ring. And so he settles himself, he opens his eyes, and he sets to the task, and he is going to ask. He's going to find someone. Let's see. Better to go to a. This is
before I forget. I just remembered that you also have a school ability that we forgot to refresh your memory of. So I'm on page 66 of the core rulebook. The elemental transformation. When performing an invocation, you may choose a different ring from which to make the check. When using the school ability, you cannot activate opportunities of the original element of the invocation, but you can activate opportunities for the new element. You can use this school ability a number of times per game session equal to your school rank. So for instance,
one time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I think the only one, Gerogen's Blessing is Earth. Fires Within is Fire, and the other, because you've got a modest air ring. This would be a mechanical way of getting around that. It just means that you wouldn't be able to, if you were accessing some kind of air.
For Gerogen's Bomb, you mean?
Gerogen's Bomb, I think, is Earth, actually.
Oh, you're right.
Does it say it as a...
No, I'm sure you're right.
Normally, those resistance things are Earth techniques as opposed to air. Air is usually more like, illusion or sneaky, shit.
Because Fires Within is fire, and then Paths, of course, we just did as water, and then
Gerogen's Bomb is
you're right
Earth.
about Gerogen's Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what are you thinking here? How are you going to try and find this inn?
I think he will. I think he's going to.
So we first settle on a skill, and then we settle on an approach. So is there a skill you think that you might draw on for this?
Let's see here. I'm refreshing my memory. That's interesting. He's got a little skill.
You know what? Here, do I have it set up as a handout? Oh, I don't. You know what? I've got. Between now and next session, I will put them as handout. I've got all of those individual the things I have on the side there, the things for the DM screen. I've got those as separate images, so I can actually load them as handouts for you, so you can have that at a glance.
So I think his skill is courtesy.
Okay.
And I think his approach will be fire. I think he's going to. He feels like now he's ready to go.
Okay.
He likes directness. He appreciates it more than his father does, and now he's going to get to business.
Okay, so let's take a look at courtesy. So courtesy is the essential skill of higher circles of power. It represents a character's ability to influence others' opinions, persuade others to a course of action, outmaneuver their opponents with win arguments, steer a conversation, and deliver cunning put-downs. And if it's a fire approach, it's insight. Convince someone to listen to their emotions rather than reason. Remind someone of their desires. Drawing attention to yourself. Getting someone to ignore risks before them. Or insulting someone openly. So, what that likely would mean is that you're trying to convince or force someone into helping you find this place.
Yeah, like someone's trying to push by me, and I'm gonna see if I can convince them to pay attention to me and fulfill my needs at this time, which is to where in the heck is this this whole frog business here?
Sure. Let me see here. So because it would be, I think that's probably going to be a contested thing here. But are you picking someone who appears to be Hyman, like someone of the middle, like merchant class? Are you picking someone who appears to be of the lower caste, or are you picking someone of a samurai station?
So those are. I remember this from playing fourth. Let's see. So samurai is obviously at the top. Hyman, is that H-E-I?
H-E-I-M-I-N, I believe. Hyman.
And that's the middle.
Merchant
that's
class.
The merchants?
Yeah. Also called the bunga, I believe. The merchant class, but it includes like tradesmen, artificers, shopkeepers, things like that. And then there is, broadly speaking, the Hinin, which includes the Burakumin, the outsiders, the ones that work with like leatherworking or touch dead bodies or things like that. Okay, I was looking up. Contested. Sorry, I got distracted by something shiny here.
Okay. I am going to approach a Hemin. He's going to, I don't know. He's thinking that he's got a better chance of, rather than, he's going to start a little lower. Between samurai and Hemin, he thinks he can,
Yep.
Get a little attention from his station. He hopes.
Okay. Let me see here.
So a merchant, I suppose, something merchanty.
Yeah. I'm just checking here.
Sure.
So I think
I'm getting a lay of the land of the character sheet. It's pretty good. I'm liking it.
It's a well done. Like you have to load images for the different rings to set up a table for it. But once you do that, it's it's easy to do.
And there's quite a bit of filling out. But once you get it filled out, you got some good stuff going on.
Absolutely. All right. Yanis is high.
Anna. Yeah. Hi,
sweetie. Okay, so I think what I'll just do is set the difficulty equal to their there we go. Humble peasant, here we go. So I think the TN will be a 1 because of the difference in station between you and this person. So go right ahead once you get your dice pulled together.
Very good. Should be good. It's good. It's fun and fitting. Like, he's pretty sure he's got this. Like, a merchant, seriously? And the merchant's like, oh, first time?
Exactly.
It's not exactly.
So here's the thing. So you got no successes. I don't think you have any abilities that allow you to re-roll dice from this
skill or this.
No, like it's unless.
Travel. What about that travel? Let's see.
Well, subtle observer is one of your distinctions. That allows you to re-roll 2 dice, but you would have needed to describe how you specifically identified. But I mean, this is the first time we're playing. I think that you narrowed your eyes to try and identify, the most.
That travel's got possibilities too, because it's when performing a check for which you need to spot or use small details of other people nearby, such as a courtesy air check.
And I think I'd let you apply it here. So you can pick 2 dice and re-roll them. So what you do with that then is just go to your first page. There's a way of just setting up a dice pool just of ring dice and skill dice.
Okay.
So which 2 you want to re-roll? The 2 blank
blanks,
ones?
I guess.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and give us a roll of 1 ring dice, 1 skill dice.
There we go. Still not.
So
he's out of his water here.
Let's take a look at the opportunities though here. So here we go. So your approach here was what? Fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the opportunities for the ring. Is that how it works?
Yes. So that's just your approach or your stance tells you what opportunities can be triggered. So that it's on page 3. So on the PDF for you, 329. Be 328 is the examples of spending. Things like 1 opportunity if you fail, determine the easiest way to accomplish the task. 2, to provide assistance to the next character attempting a similar test. The way assistance works is if you are not trained in a skill, they get to add a ring dice. If they are trained in a skill, you add a skill dice. Or remove 1 strife you gained from this check for each opportunity spent that way. And then fire specifically is inflame another character in the scene with your presence. They receive 2 strife. Notice something missing or out of place that is not directly related to the task, or perform the task in a flashy way, drawing attention to yourself. Those are examples for it.
Let's see. Go ahead.
So which, I guess, for now, the last thing is you can pick up to 3 of those dice to keep. So you could keep up to 3 opportunity and 1 strife, or you could pick just the 2 opportunity ones, or just 1 opportunity one.
I think it's fitting. There's a little strife here. I think no one's paying the least bit of attention despite his best efforts, and it's a merchant, for heaven's sake. So he's going to get a little strife. He'll keep the 3 with results.
Okay. So add 1 to your strife. Excuse me, 1 to your strife right now. So you're a little harsher with this person. What are you thinking of using the opportunity for?
Where is strife? Let's see.
Strife is your blue bar.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it.
Yeah.
That's on my
Here, I'll move you over here.
sheet.
Yeah, it'll translate directly to your sheet. Your blue bar is your strife. Your red bar is your fatigue.
Cool. Let me move it just a little bit. There we go.
Sure.
Okay. That's good for me.
Okay.
What didn't it do?
Here, I'll move you down here so you can...
Yeah, perfect.
All right. And
Awesome.
What do you want to spend the opportunity? So you stop this guy, and this person stops, and what do you say to him?
So I'm trying to be and so I think I'm being possibly I'm being too genteel.
No, because you're using a fire approach.
Oh, fire. I see. So I say, okay. So I'm trying to use my station, and I'm imposing myself, and I say, hello. I am Agasha Jinzaburo.
So again, remember, water is working with and trying to work around. Fire is direct and inciting.
I guess I could
assist. This is more a matter of like, you tell me where I'm going, because again, fire is the Anna's come over. See, fire approach, it gets them listening.
Got results.
Hi, Goober.
Got results.
Hi, Goober.
So the just so you can to help with framing your role playing with it. Remember that a fiery approach is something that is designed to incite. And remember, you can recover strife by pissing people off. You're that kind of prick.
Yeah.
Right? Like one of your passions is provocation. If you get someone else to get worked up, you actually thrive off of that kind of stuff because you get 3 strife. You can clear yourself of 3 strife when you do that. Once per scene.
Let's see. So I think I say, you there, the waking frog, where is it? With my hand on my wakizashi, unnecessarily drawing attention
Totally.
Like he cares. Like the samurai are everywhere. Like, what's the...
It's honestly like the the hopeful amateur around a bunch of pros who just goes like way out of the depth of this, of seriousness or whatnot. And you draw a little bit of attention to yourself, so you're feeling a little bit embarrassed by this. What are you foreseeing you spending the opportunities on? So again, you can spend one of those opportunities to remove the strife. You could have a little bit of flush at first, but then, ride that, because your character does thrive on conflict, it seems.
Well, I think it's a natural for the fire, inflame another character in the scene with your presence, causing them to receive 2 strife.
Okay.
So I think that's a natural. So that's one of the opportunities, right?
Okay.
And then if I can use one to recover, I think that's a natural. How would I go about that? Is that one of the
one of the opportunities? My passion. For any ring, you can always spend 1 or more to remove strife on a 1-for-1 basis.
Oh, really?
With opportunities, yeah.
And so that's always, huh? That's always
always any ring can do that. Yeah.
Nice.
It's just like advantages and strain in Star Wars.
Got it. Yep. So, all right, I will spend 1 to remove my strife, and I think I'm feeling it. I'm getting a little. I'm starting to. I'm like got that wakizashi working on my belt a little bit, and whether I'm paying attention to it, even if no one else is. So,
okay. You have 1 opportunity left. So what you could do is to use that to find, if you failed, the easiest way to accomplish your task.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that.
Okay. So he looks at you, looks around, and he says, "Samurai-san, speak to a official. Speak to a Yuriki."
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Like, of course I was going to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So you turn and start. You realize you're not sure where the Yuriki is.
Let's see. So I know it. Do I know? I mean, I know it.
You absolutely know. Yuriki is like a non-samurai caste magistrate, kind of like the local cop. They would service. Magistrates are from the samurai caste. Yuriki is underneath that. They'll often work in conjunction with the samurai, but they also tend to busy themselves with non-samurai crime. So the Yuriki would be like the sheriff for this district. Okay. And then depending on the individual Yuriki, they may be corrupt. They may be quite, the like local savior of the neighborhood.
Well, it's kind of working my way up the ranks a little bit. From a merchant to a non-samurai cop sounds about right. That's like one little. That's like a little.
Well, and as a future magistrate, like there is an advantage. The Yurikis would likely be a very useful tool for you because they are. You don't have any kind of like. There are certain samurai who sometimes have like a common touch, as it were, and have a good connection with them. You don't have that, so they're more likely to know what's going on in a given neighborhood. They're more likely to have an awareness of the people who might be involved. So, like, Yurikis are an extraordinary good resource for you because they're the ones who would know the locals. They're the people who would the commoners would have the most contact with.
Okay. Yeah. So, I give him a little bit of blustery, completely probably unconvincing, like, of course, I saw you there and I thought that maybe you would know, but I will do that.
No, Samurai-san. And he gestures 2 streets down and 1 over. You will find the Yuriki's office.
Yes, I will do that. And I give him too many bows or something.
Remember in Rokugan, the depth of the bow is a sign of station as well too. This
would probably a nod. Mine would be a nod or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean I think what you were likely to find is that especially in the city, technically anyone of a samurai station can, if they feel they have been wronged by someone of a lesser station, they can strike them down fully. They have the right to do so. Practically speaking, though, the importance of the commoner to their respective master is going to judge the response. So whoever this person serves, like you can't just willy-nilly go and murder a bunch of people because you'd
have to answer to the master.
Like the whole like the Code of Bushido thing, the thing that I think this game gets right that was challenging some of the or at least gets right and gets it into a good mechanic is that the whole thing, it's not a matter of your character feel like you shouldn't feel in these types of samurai drama games that you're confined by it, right? Like Bushido is subject to interpretation, and different clans value different things. That's where you're able to get a whole lot of freedom in it, is choosing what to, if you murder one of these things, yeah, you're entitled to murder a commoner if you want, but the lord of that person may say, you've insulted my honor, I want a fucking duel, or you insulted my honor, we're going to war over this, because you thought,
or at least pay me, like I want recompense for what you
depending on what they want to do. They could do that as well too, but they could choose to interpret it as, you've besmirched my honor. You should have come to me and asked me for permission to do something to one of my, or given me the opportunity to do that. Again, like, it's all this is the fun of this, and where the drama comes from is the conflict of interpretations of this supposedly really rigid, code. And the other thing is the more urbanized a place is, then the more value is likely to be put on some of these other people's lives. In particular, Hyman status people who are of greater importance. Very, very rich merchants. They're not samurai, but they're still super influential and super powerful. Gang members. Right. Gang members are most definitely not part of even the Hyman. They are part of the Hinin, but they have a hell of a lot of power, and depending on who the clan is, they may have some influence over you as well. So you make your way down, and you're able to find the Yuriki's station. I think that they are waiting within there too. And this is not like we're talking about this is where the Yuriki would likely live as well too, in the back. They are in there dealing with some sundry matter involving a merchant. But when they see you, you quickly have their attention. You can tell it is a Yuriki because of two different things. For one, they've got the marking of the status of the Imperial. Don't jump up. Yeah. She's looking at the Legend of the Five Rings books I've got sprawled on her ottoman, and she's like, I think I could fit. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. So there's that. You can see the Mon of of Otis Inucci, the chrysanthemum, is on there. The other thing is he has in his waist a jit. Jit is like a half sai. So it's a sai with a little fork on one side. It is specifically for disarming swordsmen. In particular, the Yuriki is most likely a Hyman at best, so they are not going to be samurai, which means that striking or otherwise injuring samurai, even Ronin, even wavemen, is probably going to get them into trouble, potentially cost them their lives. So if you have to deal with, drunk Ronin on the reg, having something you can easily use to disarm people is a really helpful tool. Yeah. So that's the thing. You see the jit at his waist, and you can see the symbol, the chrysanthemum of the House of the Hentai. And he looks up and sees you and bows. So it's Dragon Son. Bows. How might I humbly be of assistance?
Let's see. So San is someone of a higher rank, right?
San is someone of Sama is friendly, someone of the same station.
Okay.
And there is a diminutive version as well that I think is usually Ko, which is unfortunately also often what is used with female names.
Right.
So.
Right. Hi. Okay. So I guess I would go. It would be a Ko on this case?
Sama, if you're being friendly.
So I could go Sama being friendly. Yep.
And referring to him by his station is perfectly acceptable. He doesn't know your name right now, but he can tell from the Mon and the coloring of your robes that you're from the Dragon. So the fact that he hasn't referred to you as Agasha means he may not recognize the Mon of the Agasha family.
Oh, I see.
If you wear that, don't you jump up. Don't you jump up. Don't you jump up. Don't do it. All right, up you go. God damn, I'm a softie. All right.
Yuriki-sama.
Yes.
I am looking for The Waking Frog, if you could direct me, that would be most helpful.
The Waking Frog. Let's see if he knows where that is. So I'll make a roll. Oh, I'll make the roll in chat here. I think he's going to have an advantage on this because relating to his knowledge of the city. So we've probably got a ring of 2 in this. And he probably has at least 1 skill. So let's see how this goes. It's only be a DC. I got no successes there. I'll re-roll one of those ring dice with his advantage, one of the ring dice and one of the skill dice. Oh, no, I already got 2 successes. What am I talking about?
We did, yeah.
Would be with Strife. I'm going to try re-rolling them anyway. Let's just live dangerously here. There we go. I got 1 with an opportunity as well. I don't want him. I don't see a reason why he would get worked up over this unnecessarily. Yeah. So he nods and says, "Yes, are you new to the city then?"
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome to Oda Sanucci.
Oh, thank you. Finally, he's like, someone has welcomed me. He'll take it. He'll take it.
What he says is his name is Ryobe. And I will be happy to take you there. I think with the opportunity he's got there, he'll try and ingratiate himself a little bit to you. I'm happy to take you to there as well. It is outside of my district, but I will be happy to provide an introduction to the Imperial City for... is it your first time here?
Yes, it is my first time in your great city.
Well, it is the Emperor's city, of course.
Indeed.
Then, you can see you probably got your little traveling pack on as well.
Yep.
He says, "Shall we?" I imagine that you will welcome an opportunity to sit and rest. Let me show you. It's not far.
Excellent.
So
I am ready.
So you start making your way through the streets, and I think that with the good roll you got here, he asks if I might not impose, or if I might impose Dragon Son. My name is Ryobe.
Ryobe, I am happy to find such a knowledgeable guide.
Indeed. Might I have the honor of knowing your name?
Indeed, Agasha Jinzaburo, the Dragon Clan.
Agasha-san, then a long travel for you.
It's one of my longer treks.
Indeed. Have you been even to the Cranelands before?
What do you think?
Probably not, because Cranelands are pretty between the dragon and the and really the rest of the empire are like the unicorn, the lion, and the phoenix. So if you haven't ventured further than there, then you've seen nothing else.
I have not had the pleasure.
Then there will be. They say that all that can be found in the empire can also be found within the walls of Oda Sanucci.
I look forward to this.
Is there? Have you come here to study, to pray?
And I think at this point, Jinsboro is his focus has been pretty narrow. He's just trying to be where he's supposed to be in this giant city. There's somewhere he's supposed to be. He's trying to get there. But now at this point, he realizes that he's talking to a Yuriki, and he's about to be a magistrate. And now he's kind of like, oh, okay. He's catching up and letting his focus get a little broader. And he says, well, he considers this man. He says, well, as a matter of fact, Ryobi, I am to receive my credentials. What credentials? You used another word before, I think.
The symbols of station.
Symbols of station as a magistrate, Emerald Magistrate today.
His eyes kind of go big. Indeed, a magistrate. Then I am most honored, Agasha-san.
It's good to make your acquaintance, Ryobi. We will probably be working together, perhaps.
Indeed. Do you know, Will? I know very little of the business of the Emerald Magistrates, but are you is your expectation you will be assigned here? If so, that is a great honor.
I guess I could only hope, Ryobi. My anticipation is I will be assigned a task, and I am not sure, assuming this is correct, Kevin,
Yep.
I am not sure of the geographic location, but I have a task before me.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Ah, indeed. Most interesting, then. I've only dealt with one Emerald Magistrate in past, and he was quite knowledgeable. Very wise.
What was his name?
His name was Nobuyoki. Nobuyoki. Kakita Nobuyoki. It was fascinating. A smuggling operation had contact in my something despicable from down south. They had Nobuyoke-san had deduced that there was a member of one of the a servant to a local merchant who was involved in such dishonorable and criminal activities. It was impressive. That what they say about Kakita swordsmanship, I can assure you, is quite true. Mm-hmm. And what you would be aware of, he's probably referring to the Kakita are arguably one of the finest dueling schools anywhere in Rokugan.
Crane, right?
The Crane clan, yeah. The Kakita come from one of the Crane families. The Miramotos would disagree with that. Miramoto was said to have been the finest with his finest duelist with the unorthodox dueling technique. And I believe, I need to check it, but I believe that they may have killed each other in a duel to try and determine whether the which of the two. I need to check my lore again, but I seem to remember that. So anyway, that you would only be aware of that because of your pride in the dragon. The Crane are very often the ones who are appointed as the Emerald Magistrates. And in fact, the last Emerald Magistrate, most recently deceased, was a guy named Doji Satsumi. And there is a guy named, the current Emerald Magistrate, his name is Kakita Toshimoko, I want to say. I'm going on 25-year-old memories, but I believe that it's the case. So
that's pretty good.
I only mention that because one of your giri, your duty. Remember, you have your ninjo, which is your own personal goals, and there is your giri, which is your duty. Your duty happens to be to the Dragon Clan, right?
Yes. Show strength of the Dragon Clan in general.
Yeah. So I don't think it's not going to trigger your like enemy thing here, but it's worth everyone hearing that the Crane were so smart and so good and whatnot. It's a bit of a further like, well, just wait until you see what we can do.
Well, of course, my clan's Miramoto. Is that the right one?
Miramoto, yeah.
My clan's Miramoto may disagree with that, but we hold others in high regard as well. Is that?
That's about right. Yeah. I mean, he says that the Miramoto and their Daisho technique are certainly capable. And he says, of course. I meant no offense, Nagasha-san, but I have no doubt that you, although, and he looks you over. You are not Bushi, though.
Shugenja.
A priest and a magistrate. That indeed will be very important.
I'm
very powerful.
My belt and rearranging. I'm kind of
sure. Yeah. So as you're making your way into this district, what you can see is that it seems like it is, it does seem like a part of Otosanuchi, and there is no planning whatsoever for this part of, like, as much as there are some grand, there's a grand skyline that you can see with the big things going over. This has been 1,000 years of urban development with very little planning whatsoever. So there's lots of, like, dead, like, there's no straight roads. You have to bend and wind your way around. You finally make your way to, like, it would have been a hell of a thing trying to find this on your own, and finding your way out of here is going to be a bit of a challenge. But the sort of, like, sub-neighborhood that you're making your way through, it does seem to be more inclined towards samurai, and samurai who are not Ronin. You can see that there are one or two people clearly wearing, do you think you spot the purple, the signature purple of the Unicorn clan? You see let's see here. I think there's a Bushi walking behind another robed figure who you took to be a Shugenja, both wearing the crimson robes of the Phoenix. And then he brings you up to this very modest-looking entrance to an inn that is quite cramped. Everything in here the space seems to be very optimized in here. You think you see a small shrine that you passed as you were going in as well, too, a place where you could pay homage to something. And he says, this is the Waking Frog. And it looks like he's about to, thank you and for spending the time with him and whatnot, when you can hear from inside the tavern, someone is shouting, "You think you can insult me so?" And
it looks like our job has already begun, Ryobi, and he I think he probably he advances.
Okay, so you go racing up. Ryobi, grabs puts a hand on the jit, races behind you. And why don't we take our belated mid-session break there?
Nice.
Yeah, we'll let Anna Banana get outside for a moment here, and then we'll come back and see what awaits you within the Waking Frog. So for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily. All right. So it is gorgeous out today. We're going to definitely go for a nice long stroll after the session today.
James in chat says Samurai Sean.
Yeah, exactly. That's... Okay, hey everybody. Cape, what's going on? James, howdy. Jeffrey, what is going on with you? Okay. So, you can hear, the sound of something. Let me get, do I have a handout ready here? Do not. Madison, come on, jeepers. I tell you that name list thing that I used from 3rd edition, L5R. This is the thing I think I sent you photos of it too. Like that's from the 3rd edition core rulebook.
Yes.
It has these full list of Rokugani names because this is just a very NPC heavy thing. It's so helpful having that just sit there, set it open so I can quickly add names as I need them.
That's great.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice once one gets, I remember getting familiar and comfortable with all the honorifics and things of such nature, because the game is so kind of rich with that.
And that's just, honestly, like I was looking up things, and this is where I think that the books for Fantasy Flight are so good. Looking up particulars of like how are funerals conducted, what color of robe do different orders of monks wear, because I want to use that information to be able to convey meaning to different, or to the significance of different things in the in the thing.
Yep.
And it's so good that they've got that stuff at within their books. The core rulebook, I should say though, like it's great having the other stuff. The core rulebook is incredible for 5th edition. It's a very good, not all the editions have been terribly good as standalone. 4th edition is pretty good. 3rd edition is pretty good for that. But like 2nd and 1st, there was a lot missing in terms of setting information. Although 2nd edition split itself up into 2 different books, so there was a little bit more in that in 2nd edition. Anyway, what? Oh, I'm
going to be. It's cool. Like I just stumbled upon the core rulebook a list of the of phrases and stuff. Like, oh, this is good stuff.
Where's that?
To 330. I just just like the terms of 330 terms of different things, like the of that you might use during the game. Yeah, that's really nice to. Just to read through, so you can kind of get a little bit,
It's another thing for it's more things of immersing yourself in the setting.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that's part of the fun of it.
Totally.
Okay. Well, I'm getting lost in the front section right now.
Yeah.
Got me questioning. Well, anyway, I'll look it up afterwards. So what you find as you throw the door, you race through the open screen into this inn. You can see that there is a fairly terrified innkeeper, well, not old, but middle-aged. Man who seems to be shrinking back from a very irate Crab clan samurai. And you can hear the Crab samurai says, Crab Bushi, he's got the big wakizashi, big katana as well as wakizashi. You can see the tetsubo he's got over his shoulder that's leaning up against a wall. But this man stands like a head and a half above the innkeeper, as is often typical for the Sons of Hida. And he says, "This is unacceptable." And the innkeeper says, "Forgive me, honored samurai, all my rooms are spoken for. If I had a room, I must displace another samurai, one who made arrangements in advance. perhaps you could try another one in here. And he says, those are full too. I will stay in this neighborhood. I will stay at this inn.
So Jinzaburo approaches, says, I think, whispers to Ryobi, or at least in a lower voice, says, do you know any inns? And then without waiting for a response, but just wanting to plant that seed in Ryobi's mind, says, Honorable Bushi-sama. And I give the appropriate bow.
Okay. He spins, and he's got that vicious scar across his face, like the one of the things that the Crab Clan does. The Carpenter's Wall, the wall of the Crab Clan, Caillou walls, they actually keep the Empire safe from the Shadowlands, or so they say. You've obviously never been down there, but the twisted and corrupted land where Fu Lang is said to have fallen through Earth and then through into Jigoku, leading to corruption. This vicious scars on this massive warrior, it speaks that, like, they're not lying about how dangerous either the land is there, or perhaps even just the training, you know. So tell me about what type of approach you're taking here.
Let's see. Good.
That to me does sound like courtesy.
Yeah, I think courtesy is front and center, but let me just double check if there's anything. Okay. Oh, yeah, I should be using the, I see, this is my way around here. The social skills is good. Yeah, I don't think we can get away from courtesy. I think that's the,
Okay.
So courtesy to the skill, then we go to the ring, right?
Yeah, because you are trying to be friendly there. And then your approach does sound like...
It's gotta be water.
Yeah, it's either water or earth. And earth would be a little longer. Are you trying to reason with this guy, or are you just trying to make him friendly towards you?
I'm trying to reason with him. I don't necessarily want a lot. I mean, at the moment, I am just trying to be solution oriented here. So I'm trying to de-escalate the situation.
Sure.
And he's, you know, I guess as a crab, you know, he's got that crab brusqueness, but it's sort of like it automatically triggers for Jinzaburo, like, okay, let's all calm down here and figure this out.
Difficulty on this one, target number is going to be 2.
Okay. So I'm gonna go water. Got the courtesy.
Nice.
Interesting.
Okay. So you can select 2 of those because your ring is a 2. What 2 do you want to? If you keep the exploding success, that means you get to roll another one. If you choose to.
That's a no-brainer. So that's obviously getting kept.
So it's a question of the strife and the opportunity, or just the flat opportunity.
Let's see. So, I mean, how would I think about that? Would I naturally avoid that strife unless, I think that it's
unless you want, like,
for?
One of the reasons there are certain abilities that actually benefit from certain levels of strife. Lion Samurai, for instance, they get there's a benefit they get once their strife gets over half of their composure. But or if you want an excuse to break your mask, to build yourself up towards that is an opportunity to do things that you would normally not be permitted because you're, breaking composure.
I think in this case, no.
Okay.
He's definitely trying to keep it together. He wants to show well. He's trying to prove himself that he can do this job, and this is kind of this job. It's not, exactly.
Well, and he's a very big man as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
So I take the opportunity and the great success.
Sure. So then go ahead and or exploding success. So you got one opportunity. Go ahead and just re-roll one skill dice.
Okay.
Let's see what that explodes into. You need one more success to. There you go. Another exploding success.
Nice.
So you got 2 successes so far and 1 strife. You want to roll another skill dice?
Absolutely. Let's see.
Another success. Okay, so you got 2 strife you're gaining from this. But you have one extra success and one opportunity. Because you chose the water approach,
I'll put this back.
you could remove 2 strife from yourself for 1 opportunity, because it's water. You could spot a physical detail present in your environment. Oh, you only got 1, so you can't do that. Or you could perform the task efficiently, completing it more quickly, or saving supplies. I don't think that necessarily applies here. But...
Oh, I see. Remove 2 strikes yourself. Gotcha. Perform the task efficiently.
Because you're in the water approach, that makes it, instead of 1 for 1, it's 1 for 2.
Gotcha.
For removing strife.
Yep. Nice. Oh, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Okay.
And I am working. How many do I have? I have
2 strife right now.
2. And how many opportunity?
You have 1 opportunity.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I can't resist that. I'll reduce the stress.
Okay.
Strife.
Okay. So then, what do you say?
I say. Are people referred to by their clan as well when you don't know their name?
You have not checked his to see what his mon is yet. What you could do is, I think, heraldry.
Okay.
Let's see here, martial heraldry.
Culture.
I think culture. Yeah. Yeah, culture is probably the one you would use. I'd let you do that for free if you want. And that's
for free. In reference to what? In reference
to make a roll to identify his family.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Difficulty is only going to be a 1 for this.
And I still need to pick a ring, though, right?
Yeah, an approach. Yeah.
An approach. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then that would be, I guess, Earth, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Good. Okay. I'm not good at this, but let's see what happens.
Okay.
There we go.
It's 1 success and 1 strife. So I think if you're choosing that success, I can tell you where the strife is coming from, is because this has the Hida Mon on it. The founder of the Crab clan was Hida. So these are legendary warriors, and he fully lives up to his name. So if you wanted to refer to him by clan or by family, Hida-san, Hida-sama, Sama is really more of a friendly thing, and again, that's one of the things where it could be seen as being like an overture to friendship, to like, come on, buddy, or it could be seen as like being presumptuous. Of like, just call me fucking buddy,
right?
And the way we interpret that is with the dice roll. You got 1 extra success on top of that, so being more familiar with the rough-natured, less concerned with the finer, aspects of Bushido. Samurai in their ideal, or Bushi at least in their ideal, are thought of as being like sort of warrior philosophers or warrior artists. The Crab clan most definitely goes more heavily in the direction of warrior. They don't give a shit about like court politics or those kind of things. They know that their enemy, the creatures of the Shadowlands, they don't care about that shit. So like duels, honors, politicking, all this bullshit, they would consider it complete waste of time. So
I think Jinsaburo, with a big deep breath, like, okay, here we go. He goes, so he says, Hida-sama, you are obviously on great purpose and have no time for frivolities. I would like to offer perhaps this fine Yoriki that has ably guided me through these many streets to this inn promptly just now. He might be able to help with other ideas of where someone of your station can perhaps stay tonight in the shortest amount of time.
So he turns over towards you and kind of looks back at the innkeeper, looks back at the Yoriki, and you can see his hands moving like ever so slightly towards the Jit to try and to if he needs to disarm this guy. But if you feel like this Hida samurai could pick this guy up with one hand, so like that whatever good the Jit's gonna do you, good luck with that.
Yeah.
But you were relieved when he starts laughing.
And I quickly try to
He looks back at you, at the innkeeper. You're lucky, little man. And he turns over. I don't want to stay in this dump anyway. And he looks you up and down. I am... Hold on, what was his name? I am Hida Ukayo. Dragon-sama. Thank you. This place, it tests my patience.
Understood. Hida-sama. That's how I'd say it, right?
His family, yeah, I mean, his family name is Hida Ukayo.
Yeah.
I'll put it in chat so you got it. I'll correct the, now that you know his name, I'll edit.
Because generally one would use his last name if I said Hida-sama.
If you're already saying Sama, you would probably use his given name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ukyo-sama.
Ukayo.
Ukayo. Oh, Ukayo. Ukayo. Got it. Ukayo-sama, I have only recently arrived myself. So we are, perhaps, we are in a similar approach to a new place, at least for me. And hence why I needed the guide to get to this area. So I want you to be taken care of as well as I was by this fine Yoriki in my travels.
Ryobai sort of like looks back and forth between you, and he bows and he says, "It would be my honor, Krapsan." And Ukayo grabs his Tetsubo and hoists it over his shoulder. This thing is like, I mean, it would probably weigh close to your full body weight. And he hoists it over his shoulder and says, "All right then, come Yoriki-san. Let's find where I will be laying my head. But first, let's find somewhere that has sake." And that Ryobei's about to be like, I think and he kind of pulls him in and says, "Let's go."
And right before he leaves, I will say, before you go, since I will be spending some time in this area, if I may, I am Agasha Junzaburo, and I give a proper bow.
Yep. He turns, Junzaburo-san, Junzaburo-sama, thank you for saving me from myself. This place. I will send this one back once he sort of like shakes his head. And it's like he's treating a grown man as if he's a child because he's that big, right?
Yeah.
I'll send this one back with the word of where I am. Join me. We can drink and talk about what brings us to this damn place.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds, I have to get my my flourishing language on it. Oh, that sounds most edifying. Hida-sama.
Good.
Uki-sama.
Ukayo.
Ukayo-sama.
You need rest, Junzaburo-sama.
I do, most certainly.
Then, come, Yoriki, show me to sake. And the Yoriki finally releases him. The Yoriki kind of like staggers a bit away. He turns and bows in thanks to you, and then he leads Ukayo away from this thing.
And I give Ryobei a little bit of a maybe more familiar of an expression than ordinarily would be called for, like a little, not a wink, but a little bit of a, like, you know.
Absolutely, like a careful nod, and he bows very low to you. So you turn back and you see the innkeeper is here, and he just falls down to his knees, and he's just, "Thank you so much, thank you, Dragon-san."
Arise. Let's see here. So it'd be probably Ko, and
Yeah, I might have that wrong. Now that I've said it out loud, I think I might have that wrong for how to refer. Let's take a second here and look it up. Because then once we look it up, we don't need to look it up again.
Right.
I know Ko means like little, and that's but that also means is what is often like if a man's name is given Ko, it's sometimes how it a woman is named.
There's been some good. Oh, maybe this one. I had some old.
Like I'm sure it's in here in one of the sidebars.
So Kun, Kun, I had as a potential. Children had their own. Teachers were sensei.
Yep.
Daimyos were dono. Higher or formal, same sama as we said, or san could be. Let's see
here. I'm just looking in the section because they are quite. I say the rulebook has tons of great little
nice
suggestions and recommendations and whatnot in sidebars for incorporating stuff. There's some really good advice in the GM section as well too about structuring story, because the game is very conscious of how to set up conflict and how to take advantage of some of the game mechanics in it, and it gives some really good advice on how to structure that stuff in your story design or adventure design.
Cool. That sounds good.
Okay.
Forest Station.
Bushido. Go. NPC sections. Let's see if it's in the. Yeah, it's not in the reference, like the word reference area either. Okay. It's got to be. You know what? I'm not going to waste more of our. I'll find that between. If it's not in this one, it's for sure in one of the older editions.
Yeah.
They've got that stuff. So.
Indeed.
But I'm fairly confident there will be somewhere in here because they are really good about incorporating, about giving those kind of suggestions in this game. Minor clans. If it's not in here, it'll for sure be in the Rokugan, the Emerald Empire source book.
And what do you think I would call an innkeeper, since I don't know his name? Not the honorific,
but it's what he is, innkeeper.
Okay, innkeeper. So I'll go with it for now. We'll probably change it, but this Kun is my proposal of what it might be. Innkeeper Kun. I take a deep breath and I adjust my belt again unnecessarily and say, "Well, I'm glad we got that sorted." I, on the other hand, I believe do have a room here. Agashi Jinzaburo.
Yes, you do. And I do. We do. Welcome, Agasha-san. And we have a room set aside for you. Have you eaten rice today?
I have not.
Then we will have something prepared for you as well.
And if I'm going to join Krab Sama for sake, I should better get my rice in first.
He sort of is like testing to see whether you're making a joke, and then he's like, of course. Yes. Then
and I think I can't help myself at his, like, he's nervous and trying to, so I probably have an actual genuine laugh because I was kind of, in fact, I still have a strife, so I'm like letting off a little little nervous energy too.
Well, and it was genuinely scary. Like, again, there's all these codes of conduct and rules or whatnot, but like one of the things with a crab is that they generally don't give a shit about them. So like,
yeah.
And it's a matter of like, well, what are you gonna do? You know, like,
right.
the honor system and all the other stuff, like it only really works if people are all like sort of abide by that.
Buy in, yeah.
Yeah, so that was which makes also the crab a shit ton of fun to have in the game.
Totally.
But so he agrees, shows you to your room, and it's just, it's a single room that you've got in here too. There's this sliding shoji door that lets you in. And you are, there's a single little mat with a little, hard pillow for yourself. There's a little writing area. Do these rooms
actually have walls, or are they just screens?
It'll be the paper screens. There are walls, but they're like, what is it, the shoji paper, the rice paper walls. So like, you're not going to have an awful lot of privacy in here. The floor will be hardwood. Actually, you know what? No. They would be wooden walls in here. The screen itself leading in and out, and there would be like windows with shoji paper, to allow light in. But no, like there are most of the walls in here. There still would not be an awful lot of privacy.
And that's because we're probably in that district, the Echoheki. I think it's in the outer
part of the way that the things are designed. Like in a large part, Rokugan is very much a communal culture, so they're not really the idea of finding privacy and whatnot. And then that's also exacerbated by the fact that space is at a premium in Oda and Uchi. So there's a lot of building things on top of one of the reasons I love this. This is from the Emerald Empire source book, the image. I think it's a great way of just like portraying the crush of people.
Totally.
That's in Oda and Uchi.
Yep. I like all the roofs.
Yeah, definitely. It's the they have the benefit of having years and years of continual release of the card art. So there's just some really great stuff you can find. I've actually got, do I have it loaded here? I've got a picture also from there of the Imperial City at night that I'll show you, just because it's really quite beautiful. Did I think to load it? Madison, come on. You had one job, buddy. Oh, I did. I had one job and I did it.
Nice.
Here we go. So here you go. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really...
That's beautiful.
Easily one of the... I say this about a lot of books, but for the art that's in the book, it's one of the most beautiful books.
That's great. You probably said it. Is this the palace? What is this?
That is the Forbidden City.
Forbidden City, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you find yourself in this room, and I think that you can tell me if I've got this wrong, but where you normally would find yourself, and where you would normally collect your thoughts and whatnot back home in the Dragonlands, there is, it is easy to find places of serenity and quiet, places where you can appreciate and be one with the stillness of nature. And in your case as well, too, because you are a Shugenja, perhaps even hearing the whispers of the kami, the spirits, the nature spirits that predominate. Here, even in your room, there's the sound of the street, there's the sound of the city, there's the smells. Like, it is about as far away from your what you expect. You have proverbially, the like shitty, what is it, the they call it the deuce, you're like the Times Square district, second story apartment building. Yep. Or just like the full richness of the city is what you're exposed to and appreciating right now. And the walls, this place is not opulent. It has like faded, the shoji screens leading into the windows, they've been closed, so it's a little stuffy in here, and the paintings that were put on the thing by a very unskilled hand years ago have faded with time. So it's just a bit of a divey kind of place for you to be staying.
I think he's he's a little nervous, but he's on the backside of nervous. Like he got it, even just that he's taking a little bit of satisfaction that like he just kind of performed a duty, and it worked out. and I think he's actually going to take a moment. He's going to go out to that shrine, and on the way to that little inn shrine you mentioned.
Yep.
And on the way there, he will call out to the innkeeper. When my meal is prepared, come find me in the shrine.
So they're actually not. He will do that. They send out for food though. They don't have a place to cook. Yeah, cook in here.
Yeah.
If it was a roadside inn, they would likely be doing that for you. But this is because it's a city.
When it arrives, I'll be in the shrine.
Okay. So you make your way over there. Let's take a look at meditation. I think that might be what you're trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's a skill. Or no? Let's see.
Let's see here. I can't remember.
It's not a skill. It's a good call, though. Interesting.
Give me 1 second here.
Sure.
So to perform a tea ceremony is performance and void, but I think theology.
And I assume theology is just knowledge, not practice.
No, it is, because theology is what you use to perform your invocations.
I should be doing that. All right, I should get on that
section here. Hold on, skills. Here we go. Let me take a look. Okay. Marshall uses a medicine. Love it. Okay, let's see here. Theology. This Marshall. Yes, I thought that I saw there was. Maybe I'm thinking of previous editions here.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because there was a way, meditation could regularly be used to recover void, void points.
I'm noticing here too. I probably could have gone. I might have been able to go with an anxiety on dealing with that Bushi. Delusions of grandeur. When you see a chance to advance your glory, you must attempt to pursue it. Charging into that situation could have been a. I'm just,
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll say theology. I don't think it's quite right, but if you're...
Take a look at this, too. Under anxieties, after performing a check that requires facing your humble place in an uncaring universe.
And that's when you lose... so you gain 3 strife.
Oh, it talks here about a meditation void check. So what is meditation? I swear, but it's not listed as a skill.
Let's take a look here. I think it might be a support.
Oh, meditation. It's under Marshall.
164. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Why is it Marshall?
I missed it too.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. I'm
pretty good at it too, so I should I should get it to.
Yeah, so what do you... I'll say it's a TN... I'm going to say TN2 difficulty for meditation. And then what... are you thinking void approach here?
Void, yes.
Try to center
That's
yourself?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can find that place. And I was looking up before. Thanks for finding that too.
Yeah.
This is a shrine to... I'm trying to say... I didn't think we'd have a lot of noise from Anna Banana today because the food delivery was actually first thing this morning.
Aha.
This is the shrine to Ebisu, fortune of honest work.
Okay. Shrine of Ebisu.
Yeah. So you take your place at this. It's sort of set aside, like it's a very, very small little place. And there are, there's some incense that's burning in there. You're able to sit yourself down. focus yourself and go ahead and give us your roll. Let's see how you do.
All right.
One exploding success with strife. And
all right. Definitely taking the exploding. So
okay, so you can keep 2. Your ring is a 2. So
I'll take opportunity and the exploding.
okay. So go ahead and re-roll the or roll another skill dice. Look at that, 2 successes. So you're regaining. You're actually going to gain 1 void point from this, and you could, if you choose to, any task can always spend 1 opportunity to remove a strife.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I got to do that.
Yeah.
What would be the other choices? Just from let's see. Oh, because it'd be off a void, right?
Detect a sign of the supernatural if there's a spiritual disturbance in the scene. This is a void spend.
Yes.
Choose a ring other than void. Reduce the target number of your next check by 1 if it uses that ring, or spend 2 opportunity, which you don't have, but gain spiritual insight into the nature of the universe or your own heart.
Those are cool. I am suddenly getting the deja vu from the Star Wars. You know, the spends.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll make sure between now and next session too, I'll load all those things into handouts, so you'll be able to click on them and access them. I can't find them, and I'm sure I've loaded them at some point. I just it'll be easy to do them separately. Okay. Then.
So I spent it. I'm going to find some respite.
Sure.
Just enough to to get my to calm down.
So you can also raise your void point. You have 2 void points right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you get up and it's in the same way that, like, when you first get into a new place or like a hotel room or something like that, first time you feel kind of like that it's it's foreign and whatnot, but like once or when you're going in or out or 1 or 2 times, you sort of start like, okay, so this will be where I'll be. This is going to be, and the buzz of activity around here actually feels a little, a little more like you're going to have your footing, as it were. You're feeling less, less lost.
I found my place. Samurai, everyone seemingly in this society needs to find their place in all times. And so he's found a little bit. He's got the innkeeper. We're on board. My room's okay, good. And I've just found the shrine, and I'm feeling good about this little shrine even. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of happy little samurai now in my little place. Yeah.
You can see. Let's give a name to this innkeeper as well. Samio will be the name. Let's see here.
Okay.
I'll put it in chat for you.
Oh, nice.
So you can see Samio is kind of waving at you. Now that you've had a chance to see him a little more closely, he's, clearly looks like he's someone who has, he's not starving. He's a little bit probably carrying like 40, 50 pounds more than what he should. He's not, his hair isn't in a top knot, but he is balding. And his hair is sort of tied into a little knot at the back. And he says, Agasha-sama, Agasha-san, your food is ready, and there is a word from you, a message.
Aha! And I like, launch up out of my, in a samurai way.
Yep.
Not like a Sean way, which is kind of creaky and putting his hands on walls, sort of. But right. So I come out of my just exactly how he's pictured there, actually on the screen.
Yep.
And come out of there with a bit of elegance but now purpose and stride. Innkeeper Kuhn, excellent.
Okay, he says, please, this way. So he leads you in and leads you back to your room, and you find that there is a steaming bowl of rice and some cooked, meats in their fish and whatnot. Otosanuchi is right on the Golden Sun Bay, I believe is what it's called, and it so there's ample access to fresh seafood on a daily basis here, and it smells pretty good. Having been living off of little buns and whatnot that you can eat along the way, this is going to be a good meal. And
I probably look at it like a feast. Yeah, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to like
And then there's also a next to the bowl with the the two chopsticks in it, there is a scroll that seems to have been sealed, and you can recognize that the seal on it, the wax seal, is of the it is green wax that has been used, and it has the marking of the Dragon Clan. The Mon has been used to mark this thing.
And is he still around, or did he go on?
He'll wait for it to be dismissed.
I think I forget about him. And first, I look at the meal and go, oh, and then my eyes alight on the scroll. And and I go down, and I don't even touch it yet. I'm just kind of taking it in. Like, this is it. Like, I'm here. Like, it's happening. And I kind of observe this thing completely unnecessarily. And, look at the scroll like as if it's a murder weapon or something.
Sure. Do you read the message then?
Yeah. Finally, I'm like, I look at him and I realize he's probably staring at me doing this. And I'm like, ha ha ha. And, because I'm overly cheery and like, calm down, calm down, everybody. And so I dismiss him and then pop the seal.
Who are you hoping to have heard from?
Probably initially, before I saw the seal, he told me about the message before I saw it. I was hoping to hear. I'm gonna have to find his name, but the man that summoned me. Miyamoto Denjuro. So okay. I would have been hoping to hear from him, because that's that would be the next step. Like, I've got my hotel, I'm here. But then I see the dragon. I see the Dragon Mon, which is not what I was expecting. It's not crazy, but it's not what I was expecting. And I guess my father. That's kind of. I don't know that he'd contact me. Is this how he would contact me, like a scroll? Is that how it works?
If he was going to send, it's unlikely it would be in an official seal like that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. So Sean doesn't know. Does Jinzaburo know? Like, I don't. Sean, I don't know. I'm like, okay. I'm surprised.
Yep.
And I think my father wouldn't send me. This wasn't. Yeah. Maybe. I'm going to zone outside.
You pop it open, and what you find is it is as you had hoped. It is from Miyamoto Denjuro. Denjuro has invited you to dine with them at the Dragon Embassy this evening. Now, the Dragon Clan is not much for ceremony or pomp or whatnot, but perhaps he's become adopted more of the lessons, I suppose, of the other clan, and this is a little urgent, or more urgent than you expected. You were just to present yourself, as far as you knew. There wasn't a matter of, as soon as you show up, they would send for you. So this is curious that they're so eager to see you. How does Jinzaburo take that?
I think he's too excited. I think he's just like, let's go. I'm being summoned. That's how it should be. Like, this is me into the world. Like, here I come. And he's like, I got to calm down a little bit. Like, he's a little giddy. I think he's giddy on the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
which I think I'm tying into my, Ninja. That I can. Yeah, that's,
you have an opportunity to show that the Agasha are as good as the Kitsuki.
Absolutely, and I'm being summoned to the embassy. Did you see this? Like, he almost kind of wants to turn to the innkeeper. Look at this. He's not going to do that, but yeah.
Okay, so you sit down and you're able to wolf down the meal that was brought for you. Shortly, I guess, like, how do you foresee spending the time before? Between now and when you're going? There's probably like 2 hours that you have to kill between now and when you would be expected to arrive at the Dragon Embassy. One of the things that you would also bear in mind, you're still new to the city, so it's not quite clear where this is. It's probably easy to find, but based on your roles from before, you're familiar in an abstract with Otosanuchi, but you don't necessarily know where this is. So you could, that's a challenge you'll have to face in order to arrive on time there. And you do hear about maybe half an hour, so probably shortly after you finish your meal, you hear that your newfound friend, the Hida Ukayo, has a place nearby. He has managed to find a place about 4 blocks away, and that apparently is where he's drinking as well.
So he first gets himself together, like he wants to be ready to go. So whatever he might, like cleaned up or what have you, so he can walk out the door to his appointment. Mm-hmm. And then second, he's going to take care of directions. He's going to speak to the innkeeper and say, Innkeeper Kuhn, I need to go. I need to be at the Dragon Embassy at such and such time. How long? And so I don't know if we need to play that out, but I get that organized, like how long it would take.
What he'll offer is he can offer his. The sun will not be able to enter into the Echo Hikai district, the part where where the other samurai, where the different clans hold sway, but he can lead you to the entrance. You're going into I think it was the Chisei district.
Chisei.
That's where the Dragon Embassy would be.
And that's not Forbidden City, right? That's outside.
That's not Forbidden City, though, but it is it's where Sapun Hill is. It's generally only like clan samurai would, or, the Hyman who have specific business would be
retinue
in that neighborhood. Yeah. But they can lead you there, and then it's relatively easy. They say it's easy to find where, the Dragon Embassy is not far off from the Crane one, and the Crane one is very easy to see from the skyline. So it's really just a matter of those districts are much wider open and much more. There are parks there. There are more impressive temples that are there. At least what he tells you. So the sun can take you, like, wind your way through there, and then if he will also wait and bring you back to the inn at night, because Otis Anucci can be challenging to navigate in the evening.
Excellent. I accept. That sounds good. And I would like for your son to collect me at this location where I will be drinking with the crab Sama.
Okay. He says, "We will. When would you like to have it? You still have about say an hour and a half till you have to be there."
I'd like to arrive 10 minutes early to the appointment.
Okay. So then, that'll give you an opportunity to go and meet with Ukayo before you have to head out. The son could take you there. Like he's happy to accompany you as is.
Yes.
So they will bring you over, and he'll wait outside. And then when you're ready to go, he will bring you to the entrance to the Chisei district.
Tipping's not a thing, is it? It's just a station.
Yeah, you're probably. I mean, like this. So technically, like the samurai don't engage in mercantile activities or like such sundry things as that. In theory, in practice, because that's something that's supposed to be beneath them. In practice, every clan mints something called a koku, which is like a coin that represents a certain amount of value. And the smaller versions of the koku are the bu, and you use bu to pay for things. Where barter is impractical, that's where coinage comes in. And in a place like Otis Anucci, there's free-flowing exchange of coins. So you would have I can't remember how many you've got to start with. I think you do, it says in your school, maybe?
Oh, am I right?
Yeah, there's your starting outfits. And then, let's see, is there something about equipment?
Did I record this?
Yeah. So generally speaking, koku are gold coins minted in the form of a circle with a hole in the middle to be strung on ropes. 1 koku can be exchanged for 5 silver bu. short for Ichibuban. Coins, 1 bu can be exchanged for 10 copper zeni pennies, meaning there are 50 zeni to a koku. And all those will be on a string for ease of delivery. I don't think we need to worry about, like, if you want to tip him, that's fine. You don't need to track that just yet. So you make your way down, and the place that he brings you is, let's see, I think the name of this is let's see here. It'll be the Tilted Crane. And you can see that it may get its name. It may have been called the Crane at one point, but there's a sign that seems to have fallen on a strange angle, and it appears that no one has bothered to correct it. You can hear from inside that this place makes where you are staying at the Waking Frog. It seems opulent. In contrast, unlike your place where it's just set aside strictly just for an inn, this place seems to have an open area in the middle, closer to like what an old, like a roadside inn would be like, where there's a cooking pot that's got some rice on it and whatnot, or millet, perhaps if it's not the samurai who are going to eat. There are ronin who are gambling in a corner in here too, with some gamblers, and you are slightly reminded of home, seeing that one of the gamblers sitting shirtless with tattoos running up the sleeve of one arm, and you're reminded that that has a different meaning. This man is very unlikely he is a member of the Isezumi, the tattooed monks order, the Togashi order, and much is more likely a member of organized crime in here. Mm-hmm. So you see that over, and then you hear, Jinsaburo-sama! You came. And sitting down with a couple of wave men and a couple of bottles of sake is Ukayo.
Ukayo-san, and I go in and try to mirror his. It's probably slightly disingenuous because I can't. I'm mirroring, like I'm trying to get into the mood of yeah.
So let's see what impression you make on him here, because it'll give you also a chance to get some opportunity to set up.
Could be performance, but courtesy's in there. Performance.
I'd buy that. Yeah, like I think I'm
better at courtesy, but I'm just
courtesy. So one of the things is it's worth talking about for Rokugan as well too. Sincerity is an important part of the face or mask that you present, and it is more important in Rokugan to appear convincingly sincere than it is to actually be sincere.
Yep.
So there's an element of duplicity that is involved in courtesy anyway. But in this case, performance I would buy as well.
So maybe either ring-wise. Probably water or air, or you think? Or
I think so. Like water, air is if you're trying to manipulate. I think, whereas water is trying to work with.
Okay.
Right, like the I'm looking at the spends you can get from it. From air, you can like learn the character in the scene's demeanor in current strife. You could notice an interesting detail about the character. You could act subtly to avoid attracting attention. Water is to spot details in the environment not directly related to the chance. It's to remove strife from yourself, or to perform it more efficiently and complete it more quickly. And if what the task is to ingratiate yourself to him, that's sort of, I see more water than it is air.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, courtesy water. Oh.
That's some pretty good results there. So a little strife. So what do you think? You can keep 2 of those.
2 of those. Let's see here. We've got to go with a success.
Okay.
And And that already comes with the strife, so we'll just go with the opportunity sans strife.
Okay. So you get a success on that.
Not sans, sans. By the way.
What are you thinking of spending that opportunity on?
I don't have any strife at the moment, so we can eliminate that. I think probably, there's a couple of good ones here. Although, let's see. So I've got only one. So that leaves probably, I guess, perform the task efficiently, completing it more quickly.
Now let's quickly take a moment here. And let's just take a look at, I think there is a larger list of potential opportunity spends here, just to see if there's anything else of interest
Yeah.
in here that is specifically for other skills here.
Social.
Yeah. So what you could do is, because you used water, add a kept ring dice set to an opportunity result for your next social check before the end of the scene. So you can set yourself up, and what setting dice is if we were playing the physical version, we treat you as having you take one of either the ring dice or the skill dice, depending on what the result is, and we just set it as an opportunity, as if you rolled an opportunity with it automatically.
Cool.
So,
say it one more time. What's the first part?
So the first thing is it's buying forward. So you'd be your next social skill check in this scene would automatically one of your ring dice would automatically be resulting in a opportunity. In
addition to whatever it shows, or
no, just it's set that way. That means you already know the result is a guaranteed one opportunity with it.
Sounds good. Let's go with it.
So you're like buying it forward, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so he clasps his arm around you and says, "Come, join us." And you can see that his drinking companions are all wave men. And they do not seem to be particularly honorable wave men. They all seem to, you think you can see underneath the sleeve of one of them, there may very well be a tattoo that is poking its way out, which again may speak to the Isazume, but this far from...
Is that like the Yakuza?
No, Isazume here. The Isazume are the tattooed monks. Yeah, that's just the name of the Togashi Order monks. They're special because they're different from the other monks because their tattoos, you may recall, can be manifested to do magic things. You know, a dragon tattoo may allow the monk to breathe fire. You know, a sparrow tattoo may allow him to, if activated, to soar through for a short distance through the air. Your mother, that's the order she joined, was the Isazume. So she's out there, doing whatever mysterious task she needs for Togashi. I can't remember what the name of the daimyo is in this one. Anyway, because he hasn't revealed. So on the second day of Thunder is when he revealed himself as Togashi. What this means is, you're meeting with a member of the Imperial apparatus. You're about to become a member of the Imperial, the Emerald Magistrates. You're sitting down to drink with the lowest tier of the of the samurai caste, which means your delusions of grandeur. You're going to be sitting down to be humble here. You would be gaining a void point back if you spent it, but you did not spend any void points yet, so you're just gaining 3 strife.
Interesting. Okay.
So you sit down with these types.
So let's go over that again. So what kind of triggered this? Because
so
of the
this
situation?
One of your anxiety is delusions of grandeur. When you're forced to act in a humble manner,
I see.
Then what happens is you suffer 3 strife, but you gain a void point.
Okay.
And you're already at your maximum for void points.
So I see. Gotcha.
I think the lesson here is that remember that you're going to have these things come up. Make sure you make use of, especially when you're at low things. Void allows you to roll and keep an extra ring dice.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask that earlier, and I wasn't even. Get roll and keep an extra. Ring dice.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So he says, "Come on, sit down," and you're sort of knowing where you're going to be later on tonight. You sit down,
Right.
and
I'm looking over at the Waveman. I think, trying to take it in. Like, it's all kind of hitting me. It's complicated, and so it's more complicated than I'm used to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So you will have at least an hour to enjoy of Ukayo and the Wavemen's company before you go. But we'll have
to drink off my strife.
Yeah. No strife comes from drinking sake. I mean, come on. But we'll have to find out what happens in that in 2 weeks' time, because we're already at the end of the session. Yep. So, let's, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of Lament for Lovers and Liars. As is always the case, first off, at the end of each session, as always the case, we got 3 hours in, you're going to get 3 XP. So you got 3 experience points. You can find advancement, I believe, is core rulebook. It's like page 60 something.
Okay.
Let's see here. And just the only thing you want to be keeping track of is where you are spending XP things, XP that it matches up with the things listed in your skill or in your school. Because those things count towards, once you spend 20 experience points on things in your first rank of your school, you get to advance to the second rank.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's, and like they're pretty broad. Like it's pretty permissive for things you can do, like scholar skills as a skill group, fitness as a skill, meditation as a skill, smithing as a skill. Any rank 1 earth invocations count. Each technique costs, I think it's just flat 3 XP. And then there's a Heart of the Water Dragon technique or the Divination technique.
Okay.
Okay, so if you spend on any of those things, that counts towards it. You're free to spend on anything you want. There's no restrictions on it. There's no discount or premium paid. The only thing is that the anything other than your things identified in your school, they just don't count towards that. Or they count as half. Forgive me, they count as half.
Okay.
So just you just need to make a distinction of what you've spent as you spend stuff, what you've spent your stuff on. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for Chapter 1 of the Lament for Lovers and Liars. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with the Chapter 2 of this, and we'll see what happens with your conversation with your new Hida friend.
Yeah.
In the interim, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there is a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, by which I mean the 2 of us, I guess. You can find, we don't have a channel dedicated to 5 Rings, but we have channels dedicated to every other campaign we run on the channel, as well as a Sorted Games channel where we would be talking about 5 Rings. In addition, there's a bunch of other channels, including information about conventions and finding a group and selecting between online tabletops and just a bunch of great general, general conversation. One of our community members who used to host a tiger preserve posted a bunch of photos of his former tiger pets in the Dungeon Dogs channel today, too. So that was pretty cool. So lots of great people over there, lots of great conversation. You are more than welcome to join us over there. In addition, there's a link down below. You can find me on, first on Twitter at Dungeon Musings. You can find me by email. I'm telling them, Anna. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You can also find a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really amazing organization active in over 130 countries that benefits over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children, including including ongoing relief efforts and villages that were in Ukraine. So at the time of recording, the Russian invasion of Ukraine is still ongoing. And they have relief efforts that are going on there. All money donated through the link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help the kids who benefit from their services. In addition, there is a link for every $25 Canadian that you donate. You get a chance to win one of the great prizes in our next charity raffle. Our charity raffle will take place in the second week of June of 2022. Grand prize is a copy of the Beadle and Grimm's Platinum Edition Wild Beyond the Witchlight, amazing product that retails at $500 when it's new or when it's released. Beadle and Grimm's has very generously donated a copy of that, as well as a gold edition of the Absalom City of Lost Omens box set. I did an unboxing of that recently, and you can find me react to all the amazing content in that. But it's truly just an amazing product. My favorite city box set that I've ever, including the Ryoko Owari City of Lies box set for this. It's just an incredible product. And if you don't win either of those two prizes, we still have a ton of other great prizes, including chainmail dice bag made by our resident armorsmith, Dave. Dave has also donated a set of the 3 core books for AD&D 2nd edition, including the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monstrous Compendium, the Monstrous Manual. There's also a set of the Iron Kingdom's 5th edition books. I'm telling them, Anna. There's also a bunch of prizes from our Dungeon Musings Red Bubble Shop, including some t-shirts and posters and a bunch of other prizes. There's also some things that were donated by members of our community, so there's a whole bunch of prizes that you can win. And again, all donations go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. You can find more about that at the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. We'll also be announcing very soon more information about our upcoming charity session, going to be on Saturday, May 14th, where we will be returning to the blasted sands of Athos for a session played in the Dark Sun setting. Last thing I will say, one more, not last thing, penultimate thing I will say is there's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of out-of-print games in North America, at least. They have very generously offered a discount code that we can share with you. That is at checkout. If you're purchasing $10 or more through their website, enter the code DungeonMuser, all one word, and you will save 10% on your purchase, on top of whatever other sort of sale or discount they have going on. You can, Noble Knight also has a really terrific wish list feature where if they don't have in stock the out of print thing that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and then when it comes in, they'll let you know. I can tell you that I have put down the box set for Otis and Uchi as my wish list, because I don't have that. I was out of 5 Rings at the time that came out, and it looks like it's got some really great content, so I'd love to have that just as a reference for this game. So if you got something that is on your wish list that they don't have in stock, you can find that as well. Last thing I will say is a huge thank you to Sean. It is no small thing to be carrying a session on the shoulders of a solo player. And Sean, thank you so much for playing. I cannot tell you how much fun it was to prep this thing. I thank you so much for giving me an excuse to get back to 5 Rings and get back to a Rokugan. I can't wait for our next session.
Such a good game.
It is such a good game. This is your first full session of 5th edition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. So how have you felt? Is it getting the feel for how the dice mechanics kind of work?
Yeah. And you it's interesting, as we discussed prior. I have played. Both of us have played the Star Wars of the dice, and then marrying that to the other experience of having played L5R in different editions before. It's interesting, and the granularity of the dice. It's really it's. So, I think it's just so well placed. It's like it's the perfect marriage, I think, as long as you like those dice anyway. Like if you like that concept at all, I think some people it's not their preference, but if you like that at all, the unique dice, it's just the perfect marriage to this kind of complex setting.
Yes. I agree, and like the streamlining of the dice mechanics down to being just skill dice and ring dice, it makes, like, when we've played in person, it is one of the most fun, like where everyone's hunching around the dice results and trying to like pick, okay, I'm going to re-roll these 2 ones here, or I'll pick these 2 and I'll roll my exploding dice. Like the attention of the entire table is always around the results of those things, and because of opportunity and being the opportunity and the chance to use that for different for different actions and to affect the story in different ways, or the results of your dice in different ways, it adds that extra layer of interesting decision making you know, and then when you combine that with the inevitable cost of strife or leaving yourself open to it, it's a really, really fun dice mechanic without being, you know, to the point where Jeff and I were talking about Genesis again, and I'm really enjoying playing that system again, the same system as Star Wars. But when you play it in person with it, it's a fucking slog waiting for people to cancel out dice results and stuff like that. Like,
same with Star Wars.
With Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, when I ran Force of Destiny, it was on Roll20. That made such a difference. The fact that the results just go boom, and everyone can see them, and no one makes any mistakes. You never forget the extra advantage from a triumph. You know, all that stuff's just taken care of.
Exactly. And this feels like it's a lot more manageable as an in-person thing because they've streamlined. Like your dice pools are way smaller. And you know, and the roll and keep mechanic just gives an interesting extra dynamic. It's, as you said, like the latency between deciding what you're doing and rolling is definitely there is that space there, but I feel like it is there's more justification for it in this because the players are having input on what outcomes they're selecting as their dice.
Yeah, and I think that Bushido calls for granularity. So, you know, in a quick and dirty system, I think it would be a little bit in conflict, and you'd have to work your way through this. But this isn't. This is like a setting that you're down in the weeds. That's part of the deal, and so I really think it's a good marriage of those two.
It's cool. I feel like all of our dice, all the things we've done with dice so far have been interesting. You know, outcomes for them. We haven't even engaged in any of the conflict mechanics yet.
Right.
You know, like when you get into a social scene.
Cast.
Yeah, it's going to be, which is going to be a ton of fun. So, we'll see how things go with these Ronin. But that's awesome. Well, then we'll be back. For those listening at home, we'll be back again in 2 weeks' time with Chapter 2 of the Lament for Lovers and Liars. Until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our new the Jinzaburo-sama has found in the streets of Otosanuchi. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.